This is Pittsburgh's Action News 4 with breaking news.
And that breaking news, that massive fire happening right now in Allegheny County.
This apartment fire filling the air in Pittsburgh's Squirrel Hill South neighborhood with smoke. Sky 4, Pittsburgh's only news chopper, giving us this view all morning long, right there along Forbes Avenue near Murray Avenue. That fire not far from the Squirrel Hill Tunnel and the Parkway East. Many of you making the morning commute on the Parkway East this morning, and you likely saw that smoke rising near the interstate. We do want to thank you for joining us here at noon as we continue our coverage of this huge fire impacting Pittsburgh's Squirrel Hill neighborhood. I'm Shannon Perrine.
And I'm Elena LaQuatra. Right now we have live team coverage covering several angles, from firefighters battling those intense flames to evacuations to what you need to know about traffic in that area. We first want to get out live to Pittsburgh's Action News 4 reporter Carlos Flores. He's been on that scene all morning long since about 9 this morning. Carlos, what's the latest information you have from fire officials?
Well, I can tell you, Elena, it has been pretty much an active scene from where we are. Just to give folks an idea, we've been on Pecusset Street in Squirrel Hill South. I'm going to step out of the way to give you an exact idea of what we're looking at this very moment. This is directly above where this fire is happening, as crews are continuing to work to get under control, rather, as plenty of people in the neighborhood have been stopping and walking, just trying to see what has been going on. A lot of folks said they didn't even know what was going on until they started smelling smoke earlier this morning, whether it be walking their dogs or in their morning meetings. But of course, this has been something that's been very shocking to the community. A lot of folks are just shocked to kind of see what happened, but we have been hearing it time and time again this morning how active this fire is as it continues to migrate over from right to left. Now you can see a lot of the concentrated efforts from firefighters is on the left side of this building. You can see several water cannons focusing and emphasizing on this side of the building. But again, this has all been very active and moving as we have been talking, but a lot of the folks we spoke with are just in shock. Plenty of people have told me they don't even know anyone in this building, but they are still just saddened to hear who everyone has been affected. Thankfully, according to officials, we have been told everyone has been accounted for and is safe, which is great to hear. But of course, now the next step happens on what happens now for a lot of those folks. And from what I've heard a lot of the times from people walking by is that they're here for everyone who's affected. This community is ready to help. Take a listen from what this one person we spoke to about just her reaction, just seeing just the level of smoke and response.
The entire neighborhood is really engulfed in smoke right now. It's a huge fire. I have not seen anything of this scale ever before.
And a lot of folks, just like that, echoing those same feelings and concerns as crews are still working to kind of really put this fire under control. We've heard from the fire chief, we've heard from public safety officials, and saying this is not over just yet. They're still trying to get this handled and encouraging folks to please stay away from the area as much as possible. We have mentioned time and time again just to avoid this area of Squirrel Hill South as much as possible. But of course, we're continuing to monitor this for you and update you right here and online on WTAE.com. Right now, we're going to send it back to the studio. We're now covering Allegheny County and Squirrel Hill South. Carlos Flores, Pittsburgh's Action News 4.
Carlos, stay right there. One question for you. The fire itself definitely is shocking and a terrible surprise for folks. What is not a surprise is how Pittsburghers are trying right away to help each other and those impacted by this fire. Can you talk a little bit about that? And it didn't come as a shock that Pittsburghers are doing that.
No, not at all. It would seem to be the next thing they would tell me when there would be when I would ask them about the reaction. They'd be like, "I am so shocked to hear about this, and I just want to help." A lot of that is I want to help. The Squirrel Hill neighborhood is ready to help. We've heard that time and time again from several people who, whether it just be trying to help the firefighters get this under control, or the people who are living in that who were living in that apartment rather, and how they can help them get impacted. There has been no surprise on that front. A lot of folks are just saddened to hear this is something that's affecting their neighborhood, but it's been just the immediate gut reaction. Okay, this is happening. What can I do to help? And it's been pretty much routine at this point. We've spoken to several people to answer your question, Shannon.
I understand that a lot of those folks, Carlos, we'll let you go. We know we're going to call on you in just a little bit. But when we had the terrible shooting at the Tree of Life Synagogue, a lot of folks just needed a location to go to. And the JCC there in Squirrel Hill, just off of Murray Avenue, was where people went. And that is happening once again today during this emergency. And the Jewish Community Center, they're making people feel welcome, that they can go here as a safe place during another emergency.
And we do continue our coverage. It began this fire about 8:45 this morning. Crews have been on scene since then. 75 firefighters on that scene responding.
That's right. But just a few minutes ago, we spoke with the chief, Daryl Jones, with the Pittsburgh Bureau of Fire, who says this. So this fire is far from contained, and the firefight will likely continue for much longer.
This is because of, one, the age of the structure and the construction type. This is what they call ordinary construction. It is masonry walls, as you see on the outside, but everything on the inside, the floors, the roof, the rafters, the floor joists is all wood, all right? And fire, it also has spaces where fire can travel. So this is what happens when you have that. More modern construction defeats that, but right now this is what the hand we're dealt, and this is what we have to deal with.
Battling that fire from the top using those aerial ladder trucks, but also battling an electric fire in the basement. Right now, people do need to stay out of the way. This is still a very active scene. And over the last few hours when the story broke, Sky 4, Pittsburgh's only news chopper, has been giving us a unique and stunning view of this fire.
Let's go ahead and bring in Sam Hall once again, live above the fire scene right now. What's the color of the smoke at this hour?
We're seeing a tremendous amount of smoke still, but it is lightening considerably. I think a lot more water now getting to the actual flames, which I think are getting knocked back a little bit. So maybe a step in the right direction here as we look at it from the northwest side of the building right now. But I will say this also, people have been following the advice, and we were here even a half an hour ago. The parking lot was full of civilians kind of meandering about, and I think a lot of people taking our advice, and advice has been getting maybe from firefighters or officials on the scene, that this is not a place to just kind of hang out right now because of that smoke and because of the potential for falling parts of this building as well. But I've noticed that crowd has certainly dispersed and backed up a little bit, so another step in the right direction, but still a tremendous, again, amount of smoke. Again, you have a tremendous amount of traffic closures to deal with here as well. You're going to have a full closure of Forward between Murray and Beechwood, a full closure of Murray from Forward to Beechwood. Shady Avenue would be your get around if you have to make your way to something around here. The best thing you can do to help these crews is stay away from the scene right now while they continue to do their job. You still have significant delays on the outbound Parkway East as well as folks slow down to take a look at that smoke. More, of course, as we get it from Sky 4. Shannon and Elena.
All right, now we have meteorologist Brian Hutton Jr. joining us, and he has a unique perspective as well, Brian. We're talking about, obviously, the smoke seen for miles in so many different camera shots, our action cam shots, PennDOT shots from the Parkway East. A viewer sent us a photo of that smoke seen from the Clairton Glassport Bridge all the way out in Clairton, about 12 miles away. What is the wind like today, and how are we able to see the smoke for so far?
Yeah, as we've kind of gone through the morning, temperatures have warmed up, right? We started in the 40s and 50s. We're now into the 60s. And so what that's done is that's allowed the lid that was in place overnight to kind of disappear. And so that smoke's been able to rise higher into the sky. And you can kind of see that from this perspective here on Action Cam. This is looking from Mount Washington. You can see that smoke is kind of going straight up into the sky. It is color changing, so it's tough to see. But you look right here, again, that's the smoke kind of going straight up into the sky. Earlier this morning was kind of capped. Now that we've warmed up, that cap is kind of gone. And so as the smoke goes up, our winds from the surface up to about a mile or two are from the northerly direction, which is this direction from Action Cam. So the smoke is going up and then being forced northward. So falling over top of Squirrel Hill, Shady Side, eventually towards Garfield, Stanton Heights, Morningside, East Liberty. So those locations are kind of where the smoke is falling out. So it looks kind of hazy, perhaps where you're located, even if you're not in Squirrel Hill. That's because that's where the smoke is going. I'm going to switch perspectives here. This is from Action Cam here at Wilkinsburg. Again, it's tougher to see, but here's that smoke there. And again, it's being forced off to the north, and we're seeing that happen there. So if you're in the city, basically try and stay inside if you can. Elena.
Brian, thank you. And if you're just joining us this noon, we want to tell you about exactly where this fire is burning and which roadways are shut down, and also talk about the Parkway East, because this fire is just off the Parkway East, right in the area of the Squirrel Hill Tunnel in the Squirrel Hill South neighborhood. So this fire is impacting the intersection of Murray Avenue and Forward Avenue. If you don't know those names, but you are familiar with that neighborhood, it is that tricky five-way intersection where that get-go sets on the corner, kind of the gateway to the Squirrel Hill neighborhood. That's where this fire is. The building specifically on Forward Avenue. It's right across from an auto center. But Forward Avenue is how you're able to reach Homestead, the Parkway West, the Parkway East westbound, the Parkway East eastbound, and that is shut down to traffic right now. So for those of you who are using the Parkway East in the outbound direction, not a good idea to get off at the Squirrel Hill Tunnel, at the Squirrel Hill exit before the Squirrel Hill Tunnel, because you're not going to be able to make that left onto Forward Avenue. Traffic is still very slow as you're coming eastbound on the Parkway East this morning, and you are noticing that heavy smoke there in our camera shot. Be cautious as you're driving on the Parkway East, and be cautious of keeping your eyes on the road as well. Shannon.
No, thank you. As we mentioned, we do have multiple crews on the ground as well as Sky 4. Let's go live to Pittsburgh's Action News 4 reporter Marcy Cipriani. You spoke with some residents and some folks who were in that building and forced to evacuate in a hurry. And Marcy, you also found out some important information about just how old that building is.
Yeah, Shannon, Pittsburgh Public Safety tells me this building is from 1929, and while it does look solid, as you can see here on the outside, they say the inside is wood, and that's where they're having a lot of trouble. They say the fire started on the 3rd floor, and that's why officials tell me the residents I spoke with didn't realize the building was on fire. We are told those first 911 calls came from people driving by who saw the smoke. The chief tells me that when fire is in the ceiling like that, they likely had no idea. So the people who I spoke with said that they were not in a rush to get out. One woman was upset. She left her cat behind. She's very worried for the cat. And this other gentleman I spoke with says he really thought he was being evacuated just briefly. He left with no shoes. He left with no cell phone. This is what he told me just a short time ago about how he's feeling now.
Honestly, it's kind of surreal seeing it all happen, and, you know, just crazy fires coming out of nowhere, where normally the biggest problem is whether or not the washing machines are working, you know?
Many of those people had to be helped out of the building by firefighters and Pittsburgh paramedics. They arrived here on scene, and they say that a lot of people were actually just walking through the hallways unaware. The chief tells me someone actually was headed into their apartment not knowing that this building was on fire. So while many of them left with nothing with them, they thought they were going to go back in. It looks like at this point, according to the fire chief, they may not be able to get back in that building. It has been burning now since just after 8:30 this morning. The chief says they will be here for quite some time. We do know that those residents were evacuated. They're at the JCC right now. That's where the fire chief says they're going to get the resources they need. The Red Cross is on the scene. We know Salvation Army is here helping them to try to figure out what's next. But that really good news is no one has been injured, including firefighters. And the chief says there are more than 70 firefighters here. We see the trucks everywhere from the south side to Oakland to Wilkinsburg, crews rotating in and out, getting some rehab so that they can get themselves back up there onto the ladders, fighting the building. We know that according to the chief, no one is inside. It's just too unstable, so they're really on the defensive, trying to get this fire under control. So that is the very latest from here right now, covering Allegheny County and Squirrel Hill South. Marcy Cipriani, Pittsburgh's Action News 4.
And you can see that smoke there around Marcy right now. Let's go live to reporter Sheldon Ingram.
And Sheldon, you just got to that scene right there. And can you tell us where you are, who you've talked to, and what you're noticing?
Yeah, we're at one of the busier intersections in the city of Pittsburgh. Now, the fire is just off to my left shoulder. You can see the dense smoke coming from that area about 1,000 feet away. This is a very busy five-way intersection in Squirrel Hill. Just up that way there to the right, that's a shot towards Murray Avenue going all the way down to Forward Avenue, or Forbes Avenue rather. As we come to the left, This is Pecosset Street. This street is open to traffic, but then as we come further to the left, this here is blocked off, headed down Forward Avenue. That's going towards Beechwood Boulevard as you would access the Parkway East, headed towards town and going towards Homestead. As we look to our left here, this is Murray Avenue and is also blocked off. And then this section here of Forward Avenue is blocked off as well. Only traffic coming into the Squirrel Hill area has access to Murray Avenue. Now, as far as the fire is concerned, we know that it's a 4-alarm, and we have more information from the public information officer on the details of the fire and where they are now. Here's Kara Cruz. Okay, so anyway, some of the details were shared with public information officer and the fire chief. That is a 4-alarm. There are no injuries reported at this hour, and they're still working to contain this blaze. For now, reporting live from Squirrel Hill, Sheldon Ingram, Pittsburgh's Action News 4.
Sheldon, it's good to hear from you. And Sheldon is standing at that busy intersection of Murray and Forward. That's the area you're going to want to avoid. And our breaking news coverage will continue in just a few moments.
Pittsburgh's Action News 4 at noon continues right after this.